Today on Seattle Refined, forget the birds and the bees. This season of The Bachelorette is about the bees and the birds.
Becca.
Oh, what is happening?
Becca is back, and there's already some huge breaking news on the proposal front.
This time I feel like it's gonna stick.
Then, it's an enormous exhibit of mind-blowing miniatures.
And I love that some of them are kind of on the kitschy side. For instance, this cat with glasses.
We're taking a closer look at these itsy-bitsy masterpieces. And we're celebrating National Hamburger Day with a twist on the classic. All right, here we go. We got the Spam fries. We have the Ramen Burger. Seattle Refined starts now. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Seattle Refined. I'm Guard Swanson. You know, a lot of you are at home enjoying this Memorial Day, indulging in some barbecue. But tonight, Becca is back.
Do you want to be back with her?
I want to see if there's that possibility.
Are you kidding me?
It was the most devastating breakup in Bachelor history.
Just go.
But tonight, Becca begins a new journey to forget Ari and find the love of a lifetime.
The new Bachelorette, Becca!
I'm an independent woman.
But she won't be alone. 28 bachelors are vying for Becca's heart, and it's time to separate the boys from the birds.
Becca.
Oh, what is happening?
Included in the latest crop of eligible men romancing Becca is a Seattle contestant. His name is Jason, he's 29, and he's a senior corporate banker, but he's got some stiff competition.
Fun fact about me, I grew up racing motocross. I'm a professional football player. I started a nonprofit when I was 23. I'm actually an okay dancer for a white guy.
There are a lot of question marks going into tonight, but a couple of things we know for sure. First off, there's no hard feelings between Becca and Ari.
Now looking back, as weird as it sounds, I can really only thank him because he followed his heart and it allowed me to go on this new journey for myself to find the person who's a better fit for me. I definitely do feel more now how he struggled, and I can see that more just going through it too.
Secondly, she's going to get the best advice possible. Former Bachelorettes JoJo, Rachel, and Caitlin will be on hand tonight to help get this love train rolling.
There's really no rule book for being in this position. You just have to go about it your own way and follow your heart.
The Bachelorette has a pretty good track record when it comes to love. Let's crunch the numbers. In 13 seasons, there have been 13 proposals, 6 engagements, and 4 weddings. And spoiler alert, apparently the second time around was a charm because Bachelorette Becca says she isn't a bachelorette anymore.
I am engaged, yes.
And this time Becca says it's for real.
It feels so good to say it, and you know, this time I feel like it's gonna stick.
So which lucky guy wins Becca's heart? Her journey begins tonight at 8 right here on Como 4. While The Bachelorette gets into gear, plans are already underway for season 2 of the reboot of American Idol.
Maddie Poppy, congratulations, Maddie.
Idol's triumphant return ended with a bang last week when America crowned Maddie Poppy as its new vocal champ. Idol plans to return for another round next year in 2019. All-star judges Luke Bryan, Katy Perry, and Lionel Richie will all reportedly be back, along with host Ryan Seacrest. We'll let you know as soon as we learn more. And there are new details about the return of Roseanne. The show's revival was such a hit that ABC immediately ordered 13 new episodes for early 2019. According to reports, the entire cast plans to return for Roseanne's 11th season. We're excited to see what the Connor clan is up to next.
Is that a compliment or an insult?
And great news for Grey's fans. Not only will Grey's Anatomy return for a 15th season this fall, we've learned actress Kim Raver, who plays Dr. Teddy Altman, will be back as a series regular. When it returns, the medical drama will officially be ABC's longest-running primetime scripted series, surpassing The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, which ran for 14 seasons. Believe it or not, we are closing in on the halfway point of the Seattle International Film Festival. Hundreds of movies are being shown here over the 25-day event. And one of those films is the exciting thriller American Animals.
$12 million. You really need to see how easy this is going to be.
Oh, you know this from all your previous heists?
The true story centers around four friends who brazenly try and rip off some extremely rare and expensive books from a university in one of the most daring art heists in U.S. history. I recently sat down with the director of the film, Bart Layton, who spilled the beans on his passion for the movie.
How can I tell you if I'm in or I'm out without you telling me the first thing about what I might be in or out of? This would be something dangerous and very exciting. You're in or you're out.
When I heard about it, I thought it was a kind of extraordinary story. And the more I heard about it, the more extraordinary it became. They were a group of very well-educated young guys from seemingly good families. I mean, that was unexpected.
When Layton read about the real heist, which took place a decade ago, he was so intrigued with the story, he decided to track down the real-life robbers who were behind bars.
I ended up making contact with the real guys, the perpetrators of the crime. But at that point, they were in the middle of serving a very long prison sentence.
Wait, so you reached out to while these guys were in prison?
Yeah, absolutely. I read about the story, and I was very surprised to learn, who they were. And I just couldn't understand how they could have imagined that they would get away with it.
How can you have four educated kids be so stupid?
Well, I guess that's the question. I mean, and I think, the thing that made me want to tell the story was because when I started writing to them from prison, it was clear that they weren't stupid at all.
All the real thieves are sprinkled in throughout the film. It makes it authentic. But American Animals is deeper than just a story of stealing million-dollar books. There's an underlying message that today's youth feel pressured to get more out of life.
There's a sense that the most important thing is to be remarkable in some way, right? To leave a mark on the world, and it almost doesn't matter whether that's because you did something good or you did something bad. It's really, there's a pressure to just do something.
If you're looking for an intense film, American Animals might just be your ticket. Well, you have a couple of scenes in there, it's like, oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, you are on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, it's really, it's fun for us to go and watch amongst audiences, and we sit there and you're watching people and they get down in their seat and they're literally watching the movie through their fingers.
From start to finish, you're proud of this production, aren't you?
I'm proud of it because it's an unconventional film. On paper, it's pretty out there, in terms of, it's a roller coaster heist movie, but it's also, there are some non-fiction elements in it. There are things that you won't have seen before, and the way that audiences have been going crazy for it is very gratifying.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Pleasure. Thanks.
Really loved your movie.
Thank you so much. Yeah, cheers. Appreciate it.
American Animals opens in the Seattle area June 8th.
I feel alive. I feel open.
Also opening that day, the new film How to Talk to Girls at Parties, about a London teenager who falls in love with a girl from another planet. Tune in this Thursday for our spoiler-free Refine review. Coming up on Seattle Refine, from the beautiful to the bizarre.
That is really something.
The tiny works of art that are major masterpieces. And he's in a class all his own.
Mr. Gapuz, I like him because he's nice, he's friendly, he gets us motivated.
How this teacher got a helping hand and how he's now paying it forward in the classroom. Welcome back to the show. I'm Gard Swanson. They say the best things come in small packages. Bigger isn't always better. That's why when we heard about an enormous art show in Kirkland, we knew it was no small thing. We sent Refine's Malia Karlinski to see why these tiny masterpieces are hugely popular.
A single strawberry, some sunflowers, and a stunning sunset. Just 3 works in a major show of miniature proportions.
This is the Park Lane Gallery annual International Miniature Show. It's in downtown Kirkland, and they're from all over the world because
Lois Haskell is the chair of this epic exhibit featuring 400 works of art.
So what is the smallest painting you have here?
actually it is by Eric Gonzalez, and it's only 1 inch by 1 inch. It's a painting of a yellow flower.
So if that's the smallest painting, what's the biggest painting?
Big doesn't work in miniature.
All the pieces in this sizable show have something in common. They're tiny dimensions. What's the largest that a miniature painting can be and still be called miniature?
Okay, it cannot be larger than 25 square inches. Most true miniature artists don't paint that big.
And I love that some of them are kind of on the kitschy side. For instance, this cat with glasses.
Yes. A sense of humor in many of these. There's an emotion, a lot of emotion. It's just beautiful.
Some of these works are reminiscent of the old European masters.
This one is a particular favorite because it's rendered so beautifully. And it's truly miniaturized.
What do you mean by that?
In the miniature society, they say that a painting has to be 1/6 of the size that it normally would be.
Size does matter when it comes to these minis, but they don't have to be flat. They can be multi-dimensional.
What is the most unusual piece in this show? Oh my gosh!
It's called Babyface.
Well, that's the perfect name for it.
Yes.
And it actually fits within the parameters of how large the piece can be.
It can be 4x4.
It can be 4,
So
and that's 4x4.
Just made it. And all the eyes open and close.
Okay.
Which is even kind of creepier. And then, in addition to that,
Oh, that is really something.
second place for most unusual could probably be these two frogs.
What are those frogs up to there?
They're fighting over a fly.
Oh.
Besides running the show, Lois is also an artist.
That's my baby owl. It's probably called an owlet.
What is the process of painting something like this? How long does it take you?
It takes as long to paint that little painting as it would take to paint a 16 by 20. I mean, it takes a long time.
So basically, you need to have a ton of patience to paint little paintings.
A ton of patience, and you try not to swear too much.
No small effort, but there's a big payoff.
Why do small paintings bring so much joy?
I think it's because they amaze people, something that's surprising, and it just brings happiness to people.
Malia Karlinski, Seattle Refine.
You can check out these miniature works of art at Kirkland's Park Lane Gallery through June 3rd. If you heart art, here are some more must-see shows in our area that you won't want to miss. The Marvel Universe of Superheroes at Seattle's Mopop is an exhibition of epic proportions. It features more than 300 original artifacts from the Marvel constellation of stars, including art and props from Captain America, the Avengers, Jessica Jones, and many more. From superheroes to a super expensive painting, Jean-Michel Basquiat's Untitled is currently on loan at the Seattle Art Museum. It's the priciest painting ever sold by an American artist. A Japanese billionaire bought the piece last year, get this, for a whopping $110.5 million. You can see it at SAM until August 13th.
Last one, and then we're going to
There's so much more coming up on Seattle Refined. Next, he's the head of the class. An inspiring story about how a student fulfilled his dream of becoming a teacher thanks to Washington's lottery and the ripple effect. Welcome back to Refined. I'm Gard Swanson. When you think of the lottery, winning money comes to mind, right? But you don't need to scratch a ticket or match 7 numbers to win big in life. Our sponsor, Washington's Lottery, helped one man achieve his dreams of going to college, and now he's paying it forward to help the next generation.
Please quietly line up. We're gonna grab our backpacks from our lockers.
Carl Gapuz keeps his 4th graders in line at Vanasselt Elementary on Beacon Hill. His students may be biased, but they think he's the coolest teacher in school.
Mr. Gapuz, I like him because he's like nice, he's like friendly, he gets us motivated.
I like him because he lets us play chess during our free time.
Can someone tell me what homework is due tomorrow?
As a teacher, Carl is all about growing and is always looking for ways to make the classroom better, looking for ways to help his students. And he's young and they think he's cool.
No, I'm not lying. Ha! I am not lying about math homework.
Mr. Gapuz loves his job, but he says his role goes a lot deeper than reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Growing up in elementary school, what made me want to become a teacher is the fact that I didn't see a lot of teachers that looked like me. I also was low income, first generation in my family to essentially be here in the U.S.
Carl was also one of the first in his family to go to college, thanks to a scholarship he signed up for in 7th grade.
And the College Bound Scholarship is a scholarship where You sign up for it. As long as by the time you graduate, you have a 2.0. You don't get into any misdemeanors. You get free tuition essentially for any public four-year institution. As we continue to learn more about higher education, all of a sudden when I get into UW and I get my nice tuition package, which was very fortunate to have. Also, I saw a little sticker on there, or a little line on there that said college bound. And I said, oh, I'm getting free money from something I signed up for in the 7th grade. That's pretty cool. Go ahead and put your backpacks down.
What Carl didn't know was where that money came from. It turned out to be Washington's lottery.
You buy a lottery ticket, it has a domino effect across the state. We fund a lot of grants and scholarships, but when you apply for those as a student, it doesn't say it's a Washington lottery, grant.
In fact, Washington's lottery says it's put nearly $127 million towards education last year, along with $34 million to retailers and $12 million to stadiums.
That's another common concern or question is, well, where does the money go? And so when we're able to hear stories like Carl's and see that actually good things are coming from that, it's exciting, and I think it can be exciting for the players, and that's why we'd like to get the word out on where actually a lot of the funds go.
Having that college-bound scholarship to act as like leverage or kind of insurance almost really supported me in understanding that, like, hey, I can go to college and I don't have to pay a cent.
Carl now uses his experience and knowledge to pay it forward.
You might have some questions about college. You might have some questions about what happens after high school. It's important for us to continue to learn a little bit more about that. When I think about paying it forward, I think about giving them the tools, giving them the knowledge, giving them the information in order for them to at least be aware of what's coming up in the future.
I'm gonna use it to get my scholarship the same way he did and do the things that he was doing in college. I want to be a teacher.
I think that if I were to have a student, 10 years down the line, graduating from college, 10, 11 years down the line, they invite me maybe to their graduation, and it's like, hey, Mr. Gapu, you really helped me out. You really taught me how to be accountable, flexible, and efficient, and all those words you like to say in the classroom. I think, it would be definitely heartwarming.
To learn more about Carl's story or Washington's lottery, head to SeattleRefined.com. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Not only is it Memorial Day, but it's also National Hamburger Day, and we found a spot in North Seattle that serves up one of the most unique burgers in the city. It's called the Ramen Burger, and it's not the only crazy item on the menu. When it comes to creative cuisines, Rain Cafe in North Seattle seems to be flying under the radar.
Having so many choices that you never had before, so it makes it different from every other restaurant.
My culinary curiosity was off the charts with this place, so I had to know more. First up, Spam fries. Who knew cooked canned meat had so much potential?
We just slice up the pork and then we fry them in a spicy seasoning. So it's a little twist to what we normally call a classic. It's pretty salty still, even with the seasoning, so I definitely would recommend getting some drinks to go with it.
I do love the Spam. Everyone loves the Spam.
Rain Cafe also turned the go-to college staple ramen into a bizarre but delicious bun.
So the main feature is the ramen buns. They're created in a round shape, they're fried. In the burger, there's the beef patty, a layer of American cheese, and a fried egg on top.
It's unbelievable texture. It's really good. Yeah, savory, cheesy, it's got just a little bit of everything.
And lastly, the sushi burrito. It really makes sense if you think about it.
So it's basically giant, rolled sushi, and it's really satisfying when you want a California roll, but all together.
It's easier, it's kind of like a small thing, but you can bring it anywhere to go, just one bite.
All right, here we go. We got the Spam fries, we have the Ramen Burger, and the sushi burrito. I gotta give it a shot. Now, I have to admit, all three are pretty good. Do you have a favorite restaurant that pushes the envelope when it comes to creativity? Email us at hello@SeattleRefined.com and tell us all about it. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. I'm Gart Swanson. Thanks for joining us here on Seattle Refined. We'll see you next time.